And I decided to do a benzo detox at home on my own. And for people wondering what benzodiazepine are, they're Valium, Xanax, Roach. That's the branding of those. So 2 nights into that detox was not only the most painful night in my life, it was also the most important night in my life. And I woke up on my sitting room floor and there was blood everywhere. And I had a very violent grand mal convulsive seizure. And it turned out I my brother James, actually, he was minding me as I was going through the withdrawals, and we were watching Breaking Bad of all things at the time. And my brother James describes it that I just sort of slid off the sofa, but he said it looked really bizarre. The way I slid off the sofa was just weird looking. And he looked over and I was sort of just shaking on the ground. He says I was like a fish out of water, nearly slipping a little bit off the ground. And what happens at the end of a seizure? There's a slump. But the 2 or 3 minutes while I was pulsing and convulsing, literally every neuron in my brain firing at the same time, I was driving my teeth up into my tongue, really jamming them into my tongue through the convulsions. And just before I slumped, I split my tongue. And when I slumped on the ground, there was blood coming out of my mouth. My brother James thought I was dead. My dad tells the story of James screaming down the phone, Brian's dead, Brian's dead. But thankfully, I wasn't dead. And thankfully, I have superheroes as a family, Chris. And it was when I came to that moment that you talked about. I remember coming around in the hospital and I was lying on a trolley in a room. It was the middle of the night and it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was an absolute shell of a human being. Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. I didn't know what that word was at the time, but I was spiritually broken. Shell of a human being. And I never wanted to escape my reality more than I did in that moment. And I remember thinking in that moment, saying, oh my God, that's brain damage. You've destroyed your brain, game over. There is no coming back from this. And I remember just leaning back on the trolley, utterly defeated, with nothing left to give. He says, you win, I'm done. And I lay back down on the trolley, waiting to be overwhelmed by panic, fear, anxiety, my old foes. But instead, I felt a sense of peace. And I truly believe, Chris, that that was the moment that shifted my entire life. That gave me the chance to change and look at life in a different way. It was that the acceptance and the surrender of that moment.